Tonight on Viewpoint, Nigeria's political chessboard is shaking again, and the players are moving with the urgency of a house on fire. Because in the People's Democratic Party, the purge has actually begun. PDP expels Wike, Anyanwu, Fayose, others for anti-party activities. A headline that reads like a political obituary, but it is really, or is it really, the end of anything? Not according to Plateau State Governor, who fires back saying expelling Wike and others alike won't solve the PDP crisis. And as if to rub salt into the wound, the Lagos APC takes the mic with a smirk saying PDP is going into extinction. But Nigeria's politics is never a one-act play. Shift your eyes or shifting our eyes to Ekiti, where the 2026 season is already heating up. Government says political ambition comes at a price, literally ordering parties to pay 5 million naira before displaying posters and billboards. And in the same breath, a former rep declares that 85% of Ekiti people are already in support of Governor Oyebanji's reelection. 85, a number bold enough to start an argument or lead or loud enough to start a movement. And then in Osun State, a different battleground, same intensity, the managing director of NIWA, Nigerian Inland Waterways Association, Oyebamiji, jumps ship to chase a gubernatorial dream. While in the APC, the script thickens as Omisore picks up the party's governorship nomination form after reportedly leaving other aspirants trailing behind. These aren't just headlines, these are signals, a preview of storms gathering against 2026. Join us shortly as we dissect the power plays, questioning the numbers and tracking the ambitions shaping Nigeria's political future. This is Viewpoint and I'm your host, Odiawa AI. Now you're welcome back. Tonight, Nigeria's political theater has delivered not tremors, not vibrations, but earthquakes, a full-scale institutional earthquake, and it is at its epicenter of the PDP, the People's Democratic Party. A party once hailed as Africa's largest political family is now battling or struggling to keep its house in order or stay afloat. At the PDP's national convention recently in Ibadan, the delegates didn't just take a decision, they signed a political death warrant. Nyesom Wike, Ayo Fayose, Samuel Anyanwu, Danobi, Umar Bature, Austin Wachuku, just to mention a few and the like, all expelled, all branded as anti-party, all cast out in one sweeping motion moved by Bode George and backed by Bauchi's chairman, Samaila Buga. But the question actually is not who they expelled. The real question here is, what did PDP expel on Saturday over the weekend? Individuals or its own future? Well, frankly speaking, in my opinion, the purge is unprecedented under normal political circumstances. Expulsion here now is just a surgical tool. We might call it precise, targeted, and used sparingly. But what was witnessed in Ibadan was not surgery, it was actually an amputation, a sweeping strike, political exorcism, and declaration that dissent is now actually a treason. But here comes the paradox here. Hours later, Governor Caleb Mutuang of Plateau State disowned the entire process. A sitting PDP governor, a major voice within the PDP and in Plateau State, a member of the PDP Governors Forum. And he says, this matter was never discussed, never debated, never approved by the Governors Forum or even by the NEC, the National Executive Committee. Now, thinking about this and taking a chill pill, the PDP expelled some of its heavyweights, the big names, without buying in of its top leaders at a national convention not monitored by electoral umpire INEC, a convention boycotted by many of the party's governors. This is the moment the story stops being political and becomes a diagnosis. Now, putting the pieces together, the PDP has expelled Wike, the man who delivered Rivers State to the party for years, a political force of nature, a man whose influence runs from Port Harcourt to Abuja. Then you have Fayose of Ekiti State, the only man to win Ekiti twice under the PDP. Also, Senator Anyanwu, a former national secretary, a power broker within the Southeast. But the most damning blow is this. Plateau governor says expulsion solves nothing. He says unity is needed, dialogue is needed, strategy is needed, and right now the PDP has none. Now, this is where the analysis deepens. If governors didn't approve it, if INEC didn't monitor it, if key leaders boycotted it, then what exactly happened in Ibadan? A convention or political mutiny? While PDP was fighting itself in Ibadan, the APC in Lagos was sharpening its commentary knives. The Lagos APC delivered a statement so harsh, so blunt, so lethal that it felt less like opposition politics and more like a political obituary. They said, and I quote, "The PDP is going into extinction, not struggling, not declining, practical extinction." They called the convention a charade, a new low, a political obsesque, and valedictory service, a farewell gathering for a fading empire. They mock the absence of governors, mocking also the empty seats of 13 states, mocking also INEC's refusal to monitor the convention by the PDP. And they used a line so dramatic it could headline a Shakespeare tragedy. When a house is actually collapsing, even its architects will actually flee. But the dagger came later. Today's PDP is no longer a national institution. It is a refuge for internally displaced politicians. Now, that's not criticism, that's demolition. Taking a step back, let's strip away the emotions and look at the raw politics or the raw political mathematics. In 1999, PDP controlled 21 states. In 2003, PDP controlled 28 states. And in 2007, 26 states. As we speak currently, the PDP only has 10 states out of 36 states. The party that once dominated Nigeria's political skyline is now battling for survival in the basement. This is not just decline, this is a free fall like we have in the stock market. And what does the party do in the middle of this crisis? It expels some of the strongest voices, some of its most influential power brokers or blocks, and fractures its already shrinking coalition. Frankly speaking, the Lagos APC didn't even need to campaign. PDP did the campaigning against itself by shooting itself in the foot. Let's be clear, Wike is not disappearing. Fayose either is not disappearing. Likewise, Anyanwu, he is not disappearing. These are not rookies in politics. They are not lightweights in politics either. These are people who move structures, and in politics, structure practically is oxygen for you to breathe. Possible consequences may arise as a result of the actions by the PDP. Number one, internal rebellion, more defections, fragmentation, and state chapters breaking off, with the center failing to hold tight. A coalition of expelled PDP heavyweights, disgruntled opposition figures, undecided power blocks, and form something new ahead of 2027. Not impossible, not unprecedented. A weakened PDP becomes a non-threat. APC sweeps 2027 with minimal resistance. A democracy without competitive opposition becomes lopsided. Now, as the Lagos APC said, this is the part that should worry Nigerians actually. A democracy without credible opposition is actually weakened. This is not about PDP versus APC anymore. This is about Nigerian political balance. And right now, the scales are tipping dangerously. Truth be told, whether it stings or not, the PDP today is not dying because the APC is strong. The PDP is actually dying because it has actually become weak. You cannot rebuild a house by burning the pillars. You cannot regain power by expelling power brokers. You cannot win 2027 by fighting a 1999 era battle. What happened in Ibadan is not just rejuvenation, it's not a rebirth either, neither is it cleansing. It's a party pulling its own life support out of its mouth. A moment or a movement turning the gun inward via a Russian roulette. A political family tearing down its own house in broad daylight. And while they fight each other, Nigeria will watch, APC will watch, INEC will watch, and 2027 will actually practically be waiting. The Lagos APC asked a haunting question. Was this truly a convention or the formal burial of a fading political empire? The PDP has expelled individuals, but it may have expelled more than just that. It may have expelled unity, stability, and expelled its last chance at survival or revival. When we get back, we're diving into the political heatwave burning through Ekiti State. The state government has dropped a bombshell, 5 million naira before any party can even think of displaying a poster or a billboard, a price tag on visibility, or a gatekeeping tool in an already charged race. And as if that wasn't enough, former Rep member Daramola says 85% of Ekiti people already backing Governor Oyebanji for 2026, a number loud enough to reshape strategy, silence challengers, or raise questions about who actually is really reading the room. We break it down, analyzing the politics and follow the money. Join us shortly.
Hello, beautiful people. Hi, I'm Olaitan Babatunde, your host for Vigilant Podcast. Vigilance is derived from the word vigilant, which means to keep a keen eye and sharp mind on situations around you, and that is exactly what we do on Vigilant Podcast.
Ouch! Remind me of how we spill the truth on Vigilant Podcast. Trust us, we don't leave any truth unspilled.
Vigilance is not just a podcast, but it is a medium to discuss everything Nigeria, ranging from politics to economic trends and public opinion.
To listen to us, go to Spotify, click on the search bar and type in Vigilant, and there we are good to go.
You're welcome back to the show. We turn our lens to Ekiti State, a place where politics has never been a spectator sport, a place where power is contested not only at the ballot box, but in the cultural heartbeat of a people who see leadership as destiny, duty, and divine assignment. But over the weekend, Ekiti politics erupted into a new debate, a debate about law, about money, about influence, and about the future of a governorship seat that has already been generating heat ahead of schedule. Let's begin with this shockwave. The Ekiti State government, through the signage and advertising agency, has announced that no political party, not the APC, not the PDP, not the SDP, Labour Party, just to mention a few, not any other alphabet soup of Nigerian parties may paste a poster, erect a billboard, or toss a jingle or wave a banner without paying 5 million naira. And not per candidate here, but as a mandatory upfront fee for any political party seeking to express itself in the political space. A fee that must be paid before a single poster appears in any street corner. A fee backed by threats of sanctions under Section 30 of the Ekiti Signage Agency law. Now let's pause. This is not happening in Lagos, neither is it happening in the FCT. It is happening currently in Ekiti State. And the question is simple. Is this regulation or revenue? Is this order or overreach or control or political chokehold? The government's defense is straightforward. We are preventing indiscriminate posting. We are protecting public buildings. We are maintaining aesthetic order. And truly that sounds noble until we ask, why is it now? Why 5 million naira secondly? And thirdly, why during a heated pre-election season? Because let's make no mistake, posters are the blood vessels of grassroots mobilization. They are the currency of visibility. They are actually equalizers for small parties. You may not be able to afford a convoy, but you can actually afford a poster. You may not be able to afford your DSTVs or Prime TVs, but you can actually afford a wall to paste your poster. But now 5 million naira is the new gate fee to participate in democracy. While the signage war rages, the political temperature in Ekiti has been turned up to boiling point, and the heat is coming up from the APC's most vocal chieftains. Former House of Reps member Bimbo Daramola, a man known for his rhetoric, has declared without blinking that 85% of Ekiti people are already supporting the re-election of Governor Oyebanji. In a democracy, that is not support. That is practical coronation. Daramola didn't stop there. He said Oyebanji's candidacy is unassailable, unimpeachable, and non-negotiable. He said critics are living in delusion and psychosis of grandeur dimensions. He invoked the Bible, he invoked Latin phrases, he also invoked divine mandates. This is not political analysis, this is prophetic political declaration. This is spiritual endorsement. This is campaign strategy baptized in political holy water. But the real question here is Ekiti 2026 election already before the posters even go up? Connecting the dots. On one side, a 5 million naira financial barrier placed at the entrance of every party office in Ekiti. On the other side, a ruling party strongman proclaiming that 85% of Ekiti people already belong to Oyebanji. Looking at this combination I've just mentioned, listening to the political maths, smelling the strategy, this is not random, because in politics, you don't need to chase your opponents if you can simply price them out of the race. You don't need to silence them if you can regulate their voices out of public spaces. You don't need to fight them if the law can actually fight for you as an incumbent. The timing is too convenient, the numbers are too dramatic, and the narrative is running smoothly. We are witnessing the early choreography of a political play, and every dancer seems to know the dance step. Let's examine Daramola's words. He said, by the grace of God, Oyebanji will resume in that office on October 19, 2026, 9 a.m. Hail and hearty. That is not prediction. That is scheduling, precision, and confidence bordering on inevitability. And when a politician begins to speak with that language of inevitability, it usually means one thing. They believe the machinery has already been set in motion. But here is where it gets interesting. Why would a government that believes it already has 85% support need to charge 5 million naira to regulate posters or regulate voices of mushroom parties? If the people are already overwhelming on one side, why regulate visibility? Why create financial hurdles? Why control the optics? Unless the government is not regulating posters, the government is regulating competition. The opposition in Ekiti has unusually been quiet. No protests, no press conferences, no fairy statements, no legal challenge or tussles, at least none for now. Why? Probably they could be strategizing, or probably some are intimidated, or they are disorganized. Or are they simply calculating the cost of survival in a state where the ruling party's influence is expanding at lightning speed? Because an opposition that cannot afford a 5 million naira compliance fee is an opposition that cannot afford to be seen. And an opposition that cannot be seen is an opposition that cannot actually win. Silence can be many things, but in politics, silence during a storm usually is the sound of actually one who is drowning. Let's not forget the people, the 85% Daramola invoked. Does the number reflect reality? Is it a statement or sentiment or strategy or psychological warfare? We cannot dismiss the fact that Oyebamiji is genuinely popular. His governance style is modest, his political fights are minimal, he is seen as accessible, relatable, and non-confrontational. But popularity does not erase competition. Popularity does not justify financial barriers. Popularity also does not preordain an election, because in every democracy, 85% is not statistics, it's a winning sign. Anywhere you see numbers that high, you must ask questions. Is this democracy or dominance? Here's the truth. Ekiti 2026 is no longer just an election. It's a narrative battle, a power struggle, a clash between regulation and rights, a show of force between incumbency and ambition. The 5 million naira fee is not just policy, it's a statement. And Daramola's 85% endorsement is not just praise, it's a message to the competitors. Don't bother at all. When we return, we're heading straight to Osun State, where the political chessboard is shifting faster than the players can breathe. The managing director of NIWA, Oyebamiji, has just resigned, not quietly but subtly, but with the unmistakable intention of stepping into the 2026 governorship race. A technocrat turning contender in Osun politics. That move is never just a move. And on the other side of the ring, we have Iyiola Omisore, who has picked up the APC's governorship form after outmaneuvering other aspirants. Now 2 heavyweights, 1 battlefield, and a state already bracing for contest that promises drama, strategy, and realignment. We'll unpack what these signals mean, who stands to gain, who stands to lose, and why Osun 2026 might be the most unpredictable race yet. Welcome. Tonight, Osun State politics is not just heating up, it is actually cracking up. The air is thick with ambition, loyalty, betrayal, responsibility, and something very rare in Nigerian politics: real preparation. 2 heavyweights, contenders, have actually stepped into the ring long before the whistle was blown, and their entry calculated, deliberate, and unmistakably strategic. And they have already reconfigured the center of gravity in Osun's 2026 governorship race. Let's start from the beginning. Munuruddin Bola Oyebamiji, Managing Director of the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, has actually resigned. Not suspended, not probed, not speculated, resigned voluntarily he did. And why? To pursue the Osun State governorship seat. Now, in Nigerian politics, resignation at the right time is not just administrative necessity, it's a bold declaration of confidence. It tells the public, the party structure, and the power brokers that I am ready, I am serious, I understand the law, and I am playing by the book. Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act says you must resign before contesting. Oyebamiji didn't wait for reminders. He didn't wait for controversies. Neither did he wait for petitions. He resigned cleanly, publicly, and with the blessing of the president who appointed him. This single act tells us something crucial. This is a man preparing for a marathon, not a sprint. A man stepping down from national visibility to local accountability, from federal authority to state ambition, from Abuja's comfort zone to Osun State's battlefield. His parting words were heavy with messaging. I carry with me the exposure, the experience, and I am ready for another phase. But experience is not enough in Osun State, not in 2026 here. Not with the APC, where there are 13 aspirants circling the tickets like hawks. And this takes us to the earthquake that followed. The seasoned political tactician, the engineer, grassroots mobilizer, and former deputy governor, the former national secretary of the APC, Iyiola Omisore, walked into the scene, calm, confident, and with the type of momentum that only years of political survival can produce. He didn't just announce interest, he didn't create murmurs. He picked up the APC governorship nomination form first on day one, before all 13 rumored aspirants will actually think of picking theirs. And the supporters, thunderous, celebratory, jubilant, and as if they've been waiting for this a long time coming for them to exhale. Now, let's analyze this. Picking the form first is not symbolic, it's strategic. It tells the party, I am organized, I am ready, I am here to test waters, and I'm also here to swim also, not to drown. And Omisore wasn't shy about the message. He said his ambition isn't ambition, it's responsibility. Responsibility to rebuild Osun State, responsibility to restore trust, and to lead. These are not casual words, these are words crafted for one's audience, the grassroots, the delegates, the kingmakers, and the silent majority who still remember his early political battles. Political observers are already calling his entry a turning point, stepping back to look at the bigger picture, because this is where the real drama begins. Two major contenders, two different styles, and two different political pedigrees, both from the APC, both have strong backers, but how well are the grassroots footprints? Because in the battlefield, it's not about personalities alone, it's about timing, structure, strategy, and perception. And the internal war within the APC that nobody is actually talking about publicly, but everyone is whispering silently. Let's break it down. Oyebamiji, looking at Oyebanji's strengths, he has federal level experience. He has, as Buhari's successor, President Tinubu, in his gratitude narrative. He has Oyetola's influence in his corner. He resigned early and that's a serious signal, seen as fresh, calm, and administrative on a technocratic note. Coming to Omisore's strengths, he's a long-term political figure, strong grassroots presence, former deputy governor, former national secretary of the APC, meaning he understands the party machinery inside out, and as a political stabilizer and sometimes a political disruptor. The APC dynamics, which houses both contenders which I've just talked about, has 13 aspirants expected to contest. Factions within the party are quietly aligning. The primary date, which is 13th of December 2025, is far but close enough to engineer shockwaves. Osun APC wants a candidate who can win, not just compete. So with these three analyses of strengths I've just mentioned, the question is, what does the party want more? Experience or structure? Freshness or familiarity? Technocratic calm or political stamina? These are the questions that should actually shape Osun State come 2026. Let's not pretend, let's not sugarcoat things or dance around it. 2026 is not going to be a gentleman's contest. There's going to be pressure, alignment, godfathers, back-channel negotiations, surprises. There might also be betrayals. After all, this is Nigerian politics. But what makes the particular race interesting is that both leading aspirants come with credentials that can actually shake or upturn the table. Oyebamiji presents himself as a technocrat ready to transform Omisore, presenting himself as the political general returning to the battlefield. And in Osun, politics is not just about popularity, it's about timing, structure, loyalty, and history. As we count down to December 2025 and eventually 2026, one thing is clear. The governorship race will be an epic and potentially explosive one. The APC is about to face one of its most dramatic internal contests in recent years. Oyebamiji has the calm force of someone who believes his time has come. Omisore, on the other hand, has the storm-like energy of someone who believes the state needs a reset. And that's where we leave it tonight, a political landscape shifting beneath our feet. The PDP tearing pages from its own history book, expelling Wike, Anyanwu, Fayose, and others, while critics warn that this crisis isn't ending, it's only changing shape. From Lagos APC predicting the PDP's extinction to Ekiti slapping a 5 million naira fee or price tag on ambition, even as claims of 85% support for Governor Oyebanji sparks new debates, the numbers may be bold, but the politics behind them is louder. And in Osun, the drumbeat of 2026 grows stronger. Oyebamiji resigns to chase the governorship seat. Omisore secures the APC nomination form, and suddenly the race looks like an election and more like an audition for the future. If tonight has shown anything, it's this: Nigeria's political map isn't just redrawn every 4 years, it's rewritten every single week. New alliances, old betrayals, rising ambitions, and disappearing certainties. We'll be here to track every twist regarding the Osun state elections and the Ekiti state elections. The show has been Viewpoint, and I've been your host, Odiawa AI.